Hey everybody, Coach Brew here. I've got a special celebrity guest who's doing a little light reading. No idea where he got the book.
No idea.
We are sitting in my kitchen, and this is Gabe Klingman. Gabe, say
What's
hi.
up, everybody?
Gabe is a former student of mine, former Starbucks employee. You can see the
Had to represent today.
yeah, and he brought coffee.
I did.
He brought this beautiful biatch into my life today. So, in all seriousness, Gabe, tell everyone what we're reviewing.
So today we are reviewing the blonde flat white with 2 pumps of pumpkin in it.
We're reviewing a blonde, basic white. What?
Yes, that's
A
basically
basic white chick,
a basic
blonde
yeah.
pumpkin drink.
I mean,
Okay.
it's all the same.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna taste it,
Okay.
and then you're gonna take the camera. I'm gonna taste it.
Bam.
You're gonna give it a score. I'll give it a score, and we'll talk about it briefly.
Let's do it. Hello, free coffee.
You gotta hold your pinky up when you're drinking a tall.
Absolutely, you have
Or
to make
what's
it
smaller
look
than a tall?
a short.
So you're drinking a short. The
I
whole
know a few short
pinky
people. It's a
tilt thing becomes even more pronounced.
Oh, so much more pronounced.
So if you're wondering why we have microphones and all this stuff, we're getting ready to do a video podcast.
yes, son.
Gabe was kind enough to have me on. So Gabe, first impression, react to the drink.
Super smooth. I am
Much like yours truly.
Absolutely. I am. I love that. I have never been a fan of pumpkin. I will be honest with you.
Get
I know.
out of my house.
Probably should
This
have.
is blasphemy.
Pretty much. That being said,
Why did I invite him over here?
2 pumps of pumpkin instead of 3 is actually divine.
So you
It's
prefer
just
subtle, the subtlety to it all.
I prefer the subtleties in life.
All right.
Thank you.
So, Gabe, what would you score this?
I would
This
because
tasty beverage.
I don't enjoy pumpkin, I would give this probably a 6 out of 10.
So it's a rookie score. It's a 0 to 10 scale. It's kind of like 6.2, 6.4, 8.1. Like, you use decimals, feel free.
Okay, I will go 6.2354.
Okay.
Yeah,
Way to keep it.
thank you.
Go from simple to really complex. So now we're going to flip the camera around. You're going to take it. And videotape
Booyah.
me, yours, Bruley. We're going to taste this tall, basic white chick coffee with 3 pumps of pumpkin.
2 pumps.
2
son.
pumps, okay.
2 pumps.
It is smooth. It's subtle. It's not hot. Like, it's not steaming hot because we've been screwing around with podcasting equipment and you had to drive it here from global headquarters
Absolutely.
on the go. So that kind of knocks down the score a little bit. Tastes so good when it hits your lips. The pumpkin spice.
I'm sure that's what we're talking about.
It's so hard to give this a legitimate score because there's so little pumpkin. I feel like it needs a little more. I'm gonna say, and I hate to say this to you, Starbucks, I'm gonna say this is a 5.9 due to temperature, which is kind of out of your control, and due to Gabe's ordering skills making it entirely too subtle for me, whereas he enjoyed, to quote Gabe, he enjoys the subtleties of life. But I give it a 5.9. That is the review part. We also include a business lesson, Gabe. So I'm going to flip the camera around. We're going to turn the tables. You've worked at Starbucks. They have a very comprehensive training program.
Yes, God, they do.
What's the number one thing you've learned through training at Starbucks that also actually kind of transcends the coffee business and is something that you carry with you, in everyday life and work?
I would say, actually, that's a really easy question to answer.
I'm a really easy guy.
I am not going to comment on that one. I would say, very simply, the best and most efficient thing that I've learned, and the thing that from Starbucks that I can apply to everything else, has been their style of leadership.
What's that?
It is they treat their employees first over their customers. Their employees get first dibs. Their employees are top notch. You take care of your team, and your team will take care of everyone else.
I love that. I'm going to expound upon that. We're going to flip the camera around in the most homemade ghetto sort of way, literally passing it, flipping it back and forth. What I really respect and admire about Starbucks as a corporation is when you work there, you're not like a cashier, a server, you're not like a coffee maker. You're they don't even call them baristas. You're a partner. And I think that is not just semantics. That's something that any business can apply. You should feel like you're in partnership with your your employees. If you're an employer, they don't work for you, they work with you. And that's a subtlety, but it's also an important reminder, and it's something that a lot of employers have lost touch with. Mm-hmm. You know, the Gallup Corporation does a survey every year about employee engagement, and it's something like 7 out of 10 employees are actively disengaged.
Crazy.
So if you think about that, like I'm an old lacrosse coach. That's kind of my background. There are 10 people on a lacrosse field at a time. So if 7 out of 10 people don't, well, A, they're actively disengaged. B, they also, this is some other research that was unearthed, they also don't understand how their individual role actively connects to the end product that, like in the case of Starbucks, gets served to a customer, or if you're a manufacturer, what you produce that gets shipped to, let's say, your retailers. They don't understand how their job connects to the big picture. So as like a coach, that's kind of the equivalent of 7 of your 10 players, who are all 10 on the field at the same time, running the wrong direction, trying to shoot the ball in their own net or the wrong net. That would never happen in sports. You see it happening and playing out all over corporate America. And it's kind of a scary thing. So if you can find a way to keep your employees engaged, much like Starbucks does, by investing in training and development, and then also by treating them like they're vested partners. And if you're employee-centered, you're automatically going to be more customer-centered. You know, I love how when I worked in academia, and 12 years in academia is enough to drive anyone into the private sector. So many places talked about we're going to be a student-centered school. Well, you can't be student-centered unless you're faculty and staff-centered first. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they're going to feel disenfranchised and exhausted. And if you're faculty and staff-centered, the natural byproduct is they're going to feel really good about serving the students well. So there's your business lesson, compliments of a basic white with 2 pumps of coconut syrup. Thank you, Gabe. And if people want to learn more about Gabe Klingman and your podcast, where do they go? So we got our podcasting equipment here. Tell them about the podcast.
All of it.
What's it called? Where do you find it?
So the podcast is called the Paradigm Shift Podcast. Okay, there we go. You can find it on pretty much any of the social media. So we got Facebook, we got Instagram. I even put up a Twitter. We have a YouTube. And
Is it on like iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all that stuff?
It will as soon as we post these. Yeah.
Sweet.
Exactly. So you'll be able to find it pretty much everywhere you're searching for it.
Wherever podcasts are sold for free globally.
Exactly.
Thank you, Gabe. That's a review.